Good morning, dear children. Today we are going to learn chapter 7, in that the part 3, that is of human brain. Okay, human brain. You have seen the reflex action, the mainly the spinal cord was having a role. See, is reflex action the only function of the spinal cord? No, it is not. We know that we are thinking beings. Spinal cord is made up of nerves which supply information to think about. Okay, thinking involves more complex mechanism and neural connections. These are concentrated in the brain. Okay, thinking involves what? More complex mechanism and neural connections. These are concentrated where? In the brain, which is the main coordinating center of the body. The brain and spinal cord constitute the central nervous system. They receive information from all parts of the body and integrate it. So, which are the parts of central nervous system? CNS, that is brain and spinal cord. Okay. We also think about our actions, writing, talking, moving a chair, clapping at the end of a program are examples of voluntary actions. Okay? Voluntary actions are based on what? Deciding what to do next. So, which are the example for voluntary actions? Voluntary actions are done by our own will. They are the writing, talking, moving a chair, clapping at the end of program. All these are. So the brain also has to send messages to the muscles. This is the second way in which the nervous system communicates with the muscles. Okay, nervous system is communicating with what? The muscles. The communication between the central nervous system and the other parts of the body is facilitated by peripheral nervous system. So peripheral nervous system consists of PNS consists of cranial nerves arising from the brain and spinal nerves arising from the spinal cord. So PNS is equal to cranial nerves plus spinal nerves. The brain thus allows to think and take actions based on that thinking. Okay? So, this is accomplished through a complex design with the different parts of the brain responsible for integrating different inputs and outputs. The brain has three such major parts or regions, namely forebrain, midbrain and hindbrain. So the parts, we can divide the brain into three major parts, that is forebrain, midbrain and hindbrain. Okay. The forebrain is the main thinking part of the brain. So you are thinking, that means because of what? The forebrain. It has regions which receive sensory impulses from various receptors. Which are your receptors? The sense organs: skin, eyes, ears, nose, tongue and all. Okay. Separate areas of the brain are specialized for hearing, smell, sight and so on. There are separate areas of association where this sensory information is interpreted by putting it together with information from other receptors as well as with the information that is already stored in the brain. For example, you are writing examination. During that time, what you have learned previously, what you revise, all this, it is coordinating and question you are understanding and you are giving an answer for it. Understand? See, based on this, with your understanding, more better understanding, let us see the parts of brain. Have you seen that? Here in the diagram, the forebrain, it is marked. Forebrain is marked. Then the labeling, you can see that there is an cranium. Cranium is marked, no? Cranium, that is the skull that is outermost. Then cerebrum, the major part of the brain. Then the hypothalamus, pituitary gland. Pituitary gland is endocrine gland. See, the hindbrain. In the hindbrain, there are pons is there, medulla is there, cerebellum is there. And see, the brain's continuation is called spinal cord, and the midbrain. All these portions it is marked, and we have to learn it also. So the labeling in that is of forebrain is here, midbrain is here, then hindbrain and spinal cord. That is, see, forebrain, midbrain, hindbrain and spinal cord. In spinal cord is always continuation of brain, and hindbrain you see that which are the parts? The parts are, which are they? Pons, then medulla and cerebellum are the parts. Okay. Then forebrain, which are the parts? You can see that. That is the, have you seen that is the cerebrum is marked? Then hypothalamus is marked, pituitary gland, all these are there. You can see that it is not the cerebrum, mainly cerebrum is the part of forebrain here, because the entire structure you are not learning, only peripherally you are learning. Then the midbrain is also marked here. Okay, so this diagram you have to practice. Okay, then now if you look at the other use of the word reflex action, already we have learned that we have talked about the in the introduction. Our mouth waters when we see food. We like without our meaning too. Okay, that means even if it is not there, then also if you remember about the food, the watering will be there in the mouth. Our hearts beat. Our heart beats without any thinking. That means we do not know how many times it is beating or what fast it is doing. That all no, it is going on. It is involuntary process. We cannot control these actions easily by thinking about them, even if we wanted to. Okay, do we have to think about or remember to breathe or digest food? So in between the simple reflex actions like change in the size of the pupil means the opening through which the light enters into the eye. Okay, and the thought out actions such as moving a chair, there is another set of muscle movement over which we do not have any thinking control. That means we have seen that there is voluntary actions, our muscle is moving with our control, but involuntary actions like this, the food is moving through the digestive system, all this no, that is without our thinking or control. Many of these actions are called involuntary actions, and they are controlled by midbrain and hindbrain. So involuntary actions are controlled by midbrain and hindbrain. All these involuntary actions including blood pressure, salivation and vomiting are controlled by the medulla in the brain. Okay, so involuntary actions are controlled by which part of brain? Midbrain and hindbrain. And even that is salivation and vomiting, such are controlled by blood pressure. All these are controlled by what? Medulla in the hindbrain. Okay, medulla oblongata. Now think about activities like walking in a straight line, riding a cycle, picking up a pencil. These are possible due to a part of hindbrain called the cerebellum. Cerebellum is because it is balancing. We are able to do such balanced function because of cerebellum. It is responsible for the precision of voluntary actions and maintaining the posture and balance of the body. Your posture and balance of the body is due to the cerebellum's effect. Imagine what would happen if each of these events failed to take place if we were not thinking about it. So what we want to do, that our balance, our style of walk, everything is under cerebellum. Okay, cerebellum is also part of which brain? The hind brain. Okay, so is it clear for you this diagram of the brain? That is of the forebrain is there, midbrain is there, hindbrain is there. Spinal cord is continuation of brain, and forebrain there is cerebrum is there. That is the skull or cranium. That is the protective part of the brain. Inside that there are three meninges are also there. but you have to learn only the forebrain, midbrain, hindbrain, which are the parts and its functions. Okay, okay, is it clear? Okay, learn well. Okay, bye, see you again.